Hello and welcome back, Smite fans. My name is Anatoly, joined by none other than Ron Jobber on the desk. Very comfortable, finally, on the desk with you. But not as comfortable as these Sennheiser headsets. Thank you again, Sennheiser, for these headsets, as well as not only the casters, but the players alike. But today is EU Gauntlet, day number 2, Ron. How are you feeling?
Today's very crucial, and it's very exciting to watch, and the anticipation is a little bit nuts.
That's true. Besides the Gauntlet, though, we have some things for you guys at home as well. We got some worshippers for you guys. Not 1, not 2, but 3 times worth.
3 times worshippers, and you can probably get a God Diamond in 1 long game. So just F7 every single game, get as many as you can, just, you know, stack them.
A lot of F7 warriors out there will definitely be very happy about that. But HRX is also around the corner. All these teams from the Gauntlet trying to get to Super Regionals, trying to get to HRX, but you two at home can just go to hi-rez Expo for your tickets.
And you can see which of the teams today will maybe be at HRX, because that's all what they're playing for.
Well, today, for the first half segment of the day, we're going to continue on with where we left off yesterday with European action. Let's take a look at what transpired yesterday. But Rio was able to 2-0 Victoria's Secret, and then finally going against the Papis for a little bit of a rematch, going the distance. Realistically,
any team of those top 3 or those bottom 3 could have beaten each other, and I think the Papis coming out on top is not a surprise to anybody, really.
And now with the Papis finding that 2-1 victory over Burrito, they're going to go ahead and go against NRG Esports, a team that is the 2-time world defending champions, and they are now in the Gauntlet, fighting for their lives, trying to go into Super Regionals.
As expected, NRG is the 6th seed going into Gauntlet, so they're not even the final team. Valen Squadron is. But the Papis, they have their work cut out for them with NRG, and, you know, we'll see how that turns out for them.
It's going to be interesting to see, because Papis against NRG, they're also going to face off against Valen Squad, which is another story. But let's break down this upcoming matchup here. I'm expecting a lot of fireworks early game. I think that if Papis were to win this game somehow, some miracle, they're going to need to throw like a huge wrench at NRG.
They will, and they'll probably have to play differently than they have the entire split, because NRG, they've played the Papis, they've beaten them, but NRG is a very good team, and they can probably learn how other teams in the EU SPL played. So if the Papis throw a wrench in those plans, they can get a win.
How do you expect this matchup to go, though, considering this is online? NRG are Lanimals completely. They've been known to succeed at LAN. Even when they've been struggling during the online portion, during Season 3, they've bounced back. But here, they're fighting for their lives in the online phase still.
I don't think NRG wants to not get to Worlds. Granted, that sounds very obvious, but NRG being the 2-time world champions and then the next year literally not making it sounds like a nightmare to them. And I think they're going to come out with all the stops.
I think that there's going to be some specific Hunter versus Hunter matchup. Warchi against emilitoo specifically. We saw what Warchi was able to do against Caspanify in that matchup. A lot of back and forth action, a lot of confidence coming from the Spaniard Hunter, and I think that that's going to transition here in this set.
Yeah, Warchi seems, based on these games that we've seen in the Gauntlet so far, he's been the one pretty much carrying. He's gotten the best KDAs, he's doing a ton of damage, he's winning these team fights, especially on this Huyi with that huge ultimate.
Do you think that NRG is going to try to respect ban against Warchi and focus him out, or are they going to go a different avenue?
Well, you know, you want to ban the Scotty. Realistically, you might want to ban the Huyi, just kind of chop down that Hunter god pool that Warchi has, maybe even the Jingwei, something like that. We haven't seen him play too many, even the AMC, but those are all Hunters that you can ban in any game. So I don't know if those are respect bans to Warchi, if not the characters.
Well, outside of the Hunter matchup, you know, obviously adapting against Dheylo. Dheylo's been known to play aggressive. He likes to look for those early game plays, and adapting has kind of sort of shifted his attention elsewhere. Sometimes he's been a little bit not too necessarily passive, but a little bit too counteractive. And I think that if NRG were to win this, adapting is going to have to be making the plays the way he's been normally known to do in Season 2 and 3.
Dheylo has to pull out maybe the Ravana jungle. We see Dheylo play that a lot. He even played Ario jungle the other day, and that should be really exciting to see. And if adapting plays as assassin and gets behind, that could spell trouble for NRG.
It could be very interesting to see how NRG have adapted, because this is day number 2, Ron, and I think that NRG has a slight edge if they've been doing their homework, looking back at this set between Burrito and Papis. If there's anything to take from that set for NRG, what do they take from that set?
I think the way that they take from that set is that they know the gods that they should be playing. And NRG needs to kind of solidify their team comps. They need their comfort picks back, and they think if they do that, they get the easy 2-0.
I think that's going to be interesting to see how these two teams kind of battle it out here in the first set, but it's going to be the winner of this set between NRG and Papis moving towards the final boss, Valence Squadron, a team that's been kind of on the up and up. It was very difficult to really pinpoint where each team would kind of land up between Super Regionals or the Gauntlet. There's no surprise to me that Valence Squad is the final boss.
And exactly throughout the entire split, it was either this or Elevate. Elevate could have been the 5th seed here in the Gauntlet, but having Valence here is going to be tough for whoever plays them, obviously.
A lot of recognizable names. You got Funballer in the Hunter role, Big Man Ting supporting him side in the long lane, also Lobster in that mid lane. It's something that they've also been mixing up, is kind of that Hunter / mage between the Hunter and the mid position.
Lobster is really good with those auto attack mages. He's good with the Chronos, the Soul, that kind of thing. He's very, very strong on the Soul. And Funballer has been playing out of his mind. I think this is the best split that Funballer has had in a very, very long time, especially on his comfort picks.
He's looking very confident. He loves to play aggressive. That was his old school style. He's been switching it up, but now going back to the aggressive style of things. A lot of success between him and his team. But we can't forget, talking about also Fails and Ducky, the way they've been kind of working off of each other in the early game has led to a little success in Valence Squad's
A little bit of success, for sure. And Fails playing those assassins does really well in them. Those are usually expected. The Ravana has not worked out pretty much exactly. You know, he has the really good Susano, that kind of thing, the Nemesis. And if he pulls those out and gets ahead, then that could be a swift win in the last seed.
Do you think who do you think Valence Squad would rather face, obviously? This is like the most obvious answer.
They would rather face the Papis. That's the obvious answer that you were looking for. But I think Valence could beat both of them, NRG or Valence, or NRG or Papis.
Going back though real quick, who do you think has it, NRG versus Papis?
I'm calling 2-0 NRG, but a lot closer games than we would expect.
Well, I would have to try to agree with you on that one. I would hope that NRG were to win this one if they want to keep success. Let's go ahead and throw it over to Finch and Aggro for the cast.
Thank you, totally. I am John Youngling Finch, your special guest caster. Got Ryan Aggro Bailey here with me. And Ryan, do you think it's going to be a 2-0 as well?
I mean, you would expect it. NRG, the 2-time defending world champions, it's hard to believe that they're even here in this position. Historically,
in 6 no less, right?
You know, NRG slipping. They're only 2 seed coming into this land. Well, they haven't even qualified for Super Regionals quite yet. I do think that they will come out with a victory in this set, but like Ron said on the desk, I wouldn't be too surprised if it's closer than many people expect.
And you mentioned it already, though. It's not just this game. They got to go on one more time to be Valence Squadron. It's just tough. Whoever wins this set is the one that's got to go even one more step just to make it to Super Regionals. But let's go ahead and get those picks and bans up here on the screen for you. See if that's where we see Papis try and find an edge, or maybe if NRG brings out something surprising.
And as I said on the desk, these teams that didn't have to play until today, until the second day of the Gauntlet, have an inherent advantage because NRG got a chance to watch the Papis play up against Burrito. On the NA side of things, you've got Noble, who got to watch Salsa Squadron play 2 different sets. So that's plenty of information in order to try and generate a strategy to beat these teams.
I like this. We've got Rat at Tosker Band coming out right away from NRG. Rat's been a big presence in the jungle, though we didn't really see him much yesterday.
No, not yesterday, but Dheylo likes to play him, and this is a solid ban. And it opens up the AMC first pick for NRG. This could be going to the mid lane for Yammyn. Could obviously go to emilitoo in that Hunter role as well. NRG do a good enough job of playing safe around that AMC. ML will play aggressive, yes, but not so aggressive that you can't make a play as if you were to get ganked.
I agree. I think you can say the same for Yammyn, too. Both of them play real safe in the Hunter and mid roles, respectively. Papis go ahead and pick up Soul and Osiris, though, so they got a lot of pressure from Soul in the mid lane and Osiris over there, likely in the solo, but good flex to jungle.
Chulainn and Freya, an early Freya pick here for NRG. So I'm going to guess that this is AMC in the duo lane and Freya mid, because that's what EU just loves to do. It was earlier on this split, the season, I should say. Maybe it even was this split with Freya mid kind of coming in as a resurgence. Interested that NRG pulls it out right away here in this set.
Yeah, I agree. It's not as if probably unlikely Papis were going to ban it, so could have picked it a little bit later on, but go ahead and secure that Freya pick for him, maybe just to give him still a little bit more flex so Papis don't know where to expect it as they turn their eye a little bit more towards iRaffer here. They go ahead and ban out Sylvanas and Sobek.
Warchi with that Hu Yi played it really, really well yesterday. I like him getting it here right away again. A lot of Guardian bans, but it's Papis get the first pick out of the ban phase, so they get that last priority Guardian, Ganesh.
I like this too. Getting away 2 strong ones and then go ahead and pick Ganesh for yourself. And hey, if Rad Tusker's in here and you want a pure damage jungler, well, Camazotz is the one that'll do it for you, and they get that Ares to go with it.
Okay, so Ares is a little bit risky here because NRG is really lacking on hard CC. They're actually going to be relying on that Freya to set up for a lot of their damage. That's kind of their main CC in this composition, but Ares is a really, really strong pick here. I mean, a lot of dashes between the Hui and the Ganesha, jump and a dash that you can cripple out, and then a lot of non-CC immune ultimates. I mean, Sol and Osiris are CC immune during their ults, but Hui, Ganesha, and Cabrakan are not. So those characters are going to either need to pick up purification beads or just be ready to be pulled in and blown up by the rest of NRG. I like this Ares pick here.
And we've seen a resurgence here because you did bring up Cabrakan, either in the jungle or the solo lane. It sort of seems like he can flex between them. What is that Cabrakan brings from that they like so much?
A little bit of tankiness, plenty of burst damage, plenty of CC. It's not only the fact that Cabrakan is tanky, but he makes everyone, including the minions around him, tanky. That can be really beneficial for your squad. I think it was just one of those things where he was very, very meta, and everyone kind of realized how to play around him, playing around the blink, blowing him up whenever he goes into the tremble. And now that teams have kind of forgotten about the way that Cabrakan plays, it's an excellent time to bring it back out.
And Dheylo is going to be the one taking that Cabrakan into the jungle, it looks like. Not just the jungle, but he's taking that mark of the Vanguard. That's something that we don't always see on those junglers, but it can provide him some extra protection. It can, and just extra damage reduction as well with the passive. Every instance of damage coming in to Dheylo is going to be reduced by 4, and that's excellent against things like Bluestone Pendant and Bees that you'll see in the mid lane for Yammyn and the Bluestone Pendant for adapting in the jungle. And we do see, it looks like Warchi went right ahead to the minion wave while instead emilitoo is trying to start over at that red buff. Now he's rotating back over, just getting those smalls to try and meet that minion wave. This is going to give Warchi a chance to go for a bit of an invade on that purple buff when he's going to use that ricochet to make it happen. Interesting adaptation here by Warchi. Normally Hui is the character that wants to start in the jungle on his own buffs more than anyone else because his clear is better than anyone else in the jungle, but realizing that emilitoo is going to be so slow on that buff clear, instead pushes it out and goes and invades the purple. ML should be able to pick up his own red here, but that's still going to be a net win for the Papis on the left side of the map. I like what Warchi's doing. And we saw some pressure be established for NRG between Yammyn and iRaffer there in the mid lane. They were able to rotate over, get a little bit ahead in XP. We saw them take over to level 2 first before the Papis were able to. So now NRG don't have to worry as much, or rather the Papis have to worry about Warchi being in trouble on that back end side as they come on back to mid. They do need to be worried about this right side though. I like what Adapting and maniaKK have done. Bring that wave towards the tower line and freeze it right there. They want to fight on this right-hand side. maniaKK, playing Chulainn, is one of the best level 2-3 characters in the game as soon as he can get that transformation up and running. So you see him using his abilities to try and keep that rage meter down, saving that transformation for a moment where they can force the Papis to fight them. But take a look at this. emilitoo is the one now who's been freed up to rotate over to these oracles first. As you pointed out, it's clear it's going to be slow, but Warchi just going to stick in the lane. So likely emilitoo will be able to get all that farm to himself and the vision in case anyone tries to rotate through that Gold Fury pit. And that's the small downside of having to go and clear your own buffs after invading, is that you leave open a window for emilitoo to come in and pick up these oracles. But that's less farm than the red buff. It also means that emilitoo's red buff is going to be falling off much sooner than Warchi's will, so he'll have the advantage in just outright damage for clearing the lane or boxing longer than emilitoo will. Giving up oracles, not what you want to do necessarily, but not a big deal, worth invading that purple buff earlier on. And as you mentioned, maniaKK and Adapting continuing to hang out over here and try and give Creed a hard time as Dheylo's farming those back Harpies. They already ticked over to level 4, a little bit ahead of the jungle solo opponents, so they do have a bit of an aggression opportunity if they want to look for it. And this is what Adapting really likes to do, is spend time on the right-hand side, as emilitoo's in a lot of trouble on the left. Warchi gonna go in for the jump, but emilitoo was already up in the Valkyrie's discretion. One more shot should do it. There's the whoop, but no cooldowns for emilitoo. Means that Warchi will be able to escape. And he was really patient with that Valkyrie's discretion there, was emilitoo. He just understood exactly how much damage he was at risk of taking and maximized his opportunity for return damage, waiting on that minion wave to join too, so they could kind of launch in all together. So emilitoo really showing how well he can pilot the Freya against Warchi, who has to back, and emilitoo going to keep farming. iRaffer has Blink ult available, but doesn't necessarily want to dive the tower quite yet. Would have been a decent opportunity just because Creed's only level 4, which means he would have had no recourse to getting pulled by that no escape, but probably the wiser decision by iRaffer. As far as that trade on the left-hand side goes, that trading beads for beads and ult for ult definitely favors Warchi, because Warchi is a little bit safer than emilitoo will be on the Freya without his ultimate or purification beads. Hui has a leap, Freya doesn't. It's pretty much that simple. Emil much more vulnerable now
to a gank from Dheylo because he'll have no way to get up and over that Cabrakan ultimate wall.
That is something that Dheylo could be looking for in this Cabrakan. So far, we haven't seen him have too big of an impact, but he is still level 4. Once he gets level 5 and he has those walls, he can really start isolating some opponents, especially, like you said, someone like emilitoo without any leaps. Even Yammyn could have trouble with it, too. So this Cabrakan pick definitely could have a big impact on some of those more immobile, squishy characters for NRG.
But he's pretty far behind in XP. I mean, he just hit level 5, and adapting has been level 6 for a little bit. This is the power of having two junglers on the same side of the map where one team has better push. NRG's got better push, so that means they get the fire elementals. They're the first ones to clear the wave. They can rotate a little bit better towards back camps and things like that. And now Dheylo's behind in XP, where normally you'll see teams against NRG kind of leave the solo side alone. maniaK's an excellent solo laner, but adapting comes over and takes a lot of farm from him, which means that if you're leaving your solo laner to solo farm, they're going to get an inherent lead just because they don't have to split the waves.
There's iRaffer blinking in, already has his ultimate pulled. It does pull in Warchi successfully. He had to use his beads against the fight with emilitoo earlier, but there really hasn't been a chance for emilitoo to follow up with damage. Not quite on the mark with all of the hits from Valkyrie Discretion, and Warchi able to survive.
Big win there for the Papis, and Dracomarino coming over. No chance for him to try and catch up to Emil or iRaffer. If you get someone with purification beads down with an Ares, that's almost always a kill. But just too many minions there to block the shots from emilitoo. It also looked like they were on a slightly different page. Emil not as far pushed up as he probably wanted to be. Part of that reasoning is that he doesn't want to tip off Warchi that there's a gank coming. I mean, if you've got a laner just kind of running at you, you're probably thinking to yourself, something weird is going on here. So Emil has to kind of keep that balance of not tipping off Warchi that there's a gank coming, but also being in position to follow up, and just wasn't able to find that balance that time.
Warchi also really positioned his ultimate very well in that fight. The Suns kind of made it difficult for emilitoo to step up without taking a lot of return damage too. So I think it was a bit of emilitoo not being as far forward as he would have liked, and Warchi also positioning that ultimate really well that made it difficult for them to get all the follow-up damage that they wanted. But either way, Warchi not just survives the gank, but now he's a good bit ahead of emilitoo. Looks like about a level and a half or so that he's out in front. Already has those Ninja Tabi finished off too, so his attack speed getting a boost as he starts to move into the Devil Gloves build.
The Papis have about a 500 gold lead, and almost more than that is coming from the lead that Warchi has in this duo lane. He's up a solid 700 gold right now.
There's the whoop that you're talking about from Freya to set up iRaffer to come in with the chains onto 2 Supernovas. Dropped in. Dheylo's the one taking all the damage. Yammyn now here too. He's the one that gets the credit for that one. First blood going to NRG.
That's exactly what NRG wanted to start off this one. I mean, it's not as early as they probably would have liked, but setting up for that Freya whoop, as I mentioned, and Dheylo just going a little bit too far in. I think everyone else from the Papis was worried about how much damage the rest of NRG was going to be doing to them. And even with, Warchi having that lead in the duo lane, it was emilitoo who's there first to that fight. I mean, that's on the Papis side of the map. Warchi has to be there and not get out-rotated by a Freya who has significantly worse clear than him.
It's tough for Papis to lose a fight on the side of the map where they've got their best chance at winning here. Dracomarino and Warchi are the ones who are actually in the lead. It's the other side of the map where they might be struggling a little bit more, so that's going to hurt them a good bit that they lost that kill over there. As you said, Dheylo was already behind. That's just going to serve to put him even a little further back as adapting now. Free to come around and do a little bit more farming while Dheylo's just getting reestablished. We see him helping out with that blue buff on the solo side, and speed will be back up in a moment for him to go ahead and drop that too.
And even with the left side of the map not getting a lead for NRG, they have leads where it's more important. I mean, you want your AMC to have a lead in the early stages. If Freya doesn't have a lead, who cares? She's still going to do Freya stuff as soon as she gets her items online. That's not a big worry. But getting your AMC some early farm, getting him a lead in the mid lane, giving your Camazotz a lead, giving your Chulainn a lead, those are more important than your Freya. So NRG's fine by letting Warchi have a slight lead in this lane. emilitoo plays safe enough that it's unlikely that he'll fall to a 1v1. As long as he doesn't die in the 1v1, it's not a big deal, even if he's down, 5 to 800 gold.
We see this grouping on the left-hand side because those oracles are just about to respawn. MrNazer trying to get a little bit of space there to force back the rest of the team. Those oracles end up getting split. Warchi actually commits the Suns on top of it, and that's going to be enough for them to back off even though they split those oracles.
I think it was just a bit of a split call there from Papis, a little bit of hesitation, I would say, because Warchi can drop that ultimate if he throws the mark onto iRaffer first. That could have been a decent engagement with Dheylo coming in with Blink. They could have just tried to all-in iRaffer and kill him before no escape came out, but he just drops the ult first and then the mark, which means that it's not going to have that really, really potent slow.
And you were talking early on about how we were going to be our energy were going to be really reliant on emilitoo and the Freya Whoop, the banish, to sort of set up a lot for their team fights. I'm seeing that even reflected in some of these relic choices. Dheylo goes with the blink. That way he can be the initiator for him, get in, start the fights, whereas Adapting's gone for beads. You
need to have at least some beads against the Ares ult. I mean, that is the CC that the Papis have to be worried about. And Dheylo, in particular, needs to be worried about it because he doesn't have a CC immunity at all in his kit. But using that blink to play aggressive is the right idea. You want to get yourself a lead on Cabrakan.
Gold Fury already down to half health for energy, but it looks like Papis recognize everyone's missing off the map. Dheylo, NRG, and Dracomarino rotate on over, and that's enough for energy to drop it. If there was no response from Papis, they go ahead and burn it, but they weren't looking for the fight just yet.
Look at all the wards in the Papis inventory. 4 members have wards, with many of them having double sets.
A lot just fell off for energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Energy have already placed all their wards. They're the ones with the vision control on the left-hand side, so that's why it looks like they've got all the vision. Papis have vision, they just haven't started to use it quite yet. As soon as they do, that Gold Fury pull won't be quite as easy for energy.
Warchi just kind of free farming over here, having a good time, heading back over to the middle lane. The big difference, though, I've seen in a lot of our sets lately here towards the fall split, though, has really come down between the impact that these mid laners can have. MrNazer on the Soul and Yammyn piloting the AMC. He's been doing well so far.
And he's finished off the Devourer's Gauntlet, so this is where he can actually start to become even more impactful. The early game, you're really just looking to out-clear with AMC, but with those Devo Gaunts starting to stack up, now he can start to do really significant damage and keep himself sustained.
iRaffer successfully landed the chains, but that's not going to be enough. Dheylo blinks in, Supernova and the Sun's committed. That was a full commit onto iRaffer, and it worked. They get the first kill for Papis onto their hunter.
Ares seems really, really tough to play against, but that is exactly how you deal with him. You just dump everything in order to kill him in the early game. He's not going to be tanky enough to withstand all that damage, and even if he would have popped his ultimate there, he would have died long before it went off. Good decision from iRaffer to hold the ult, and there's where that ward vision comes into play. iRaffer thought he could go in and just chain down Warchi, maybe get a little bit of poke on him, try and keep him out of the lane as easily, but look at where the sentry vision is. It's all Papis on the top side. NRG had no idea that there were 3-4 members coming to Warchi's defense, and all of a sudden iRaffer found himself in a bad spot.
And that was one where Warchi, if we recall, he had committed the ultimate on that Gold Fury attempt too when they pulled it. But that call from them, the engagement from iRaffer, was just a little bit mistimed. Everything was back up for Poppy, so they were able to commit all those ultimates and had no problem securing that kill. So part of iRaffer's plan might have been trying to get Warchi while some stuff was down, but I think just a little bit too late on him.
Well, either way, I mean, he's still only level 9 right now on the Ares, the only single-digit character in the game for levels, but he's only one level, half a level behind Dracomarino, and is working towards what could be a mystical mail there, an early aura item to really provide some extra damage. iRaffer has a couple options to go off that steel mail, but if he wants to go for the greedier style of build, the more expensive mystical mail that will really up his damage because of the damage from the mystical mail and the fact that Ares passive gives him 30 power for every aura item that he purchases, he certainly would be a lot of extra damage if he goes for mystical, but it is risky. I mean, he's going to be squishier for longer, not only at this stage before he finishes off the mystical, but afterwards as well, because he invested so much gold into that first item.
But when are we expecting to see iRaffer have a big impact on this Ares? I mean, the one engagement that went their way, it was really set up off emilitoo's engage, not iRaffer's.
Well, it was also iRaffer stepping up and chaining down Dracomarino, which forces him to back up, which means that Dheylo is more isolated. iRaffer is looking for other players on NRG to burn purification beads and then come in with the ultimate. Problem is they don't have a lot of CC to burn those purification beads. That's where this Ares pick is a little bit risky, because what CC do you have to purify away? I mean, the Camazotz slow. You could pre-beads the Chulainn knockup, or maybe the root that he has in the rage form. That's really about it. I mean, Warchi's beads on the left-hand side were forced because of a whoop from emilitoo, but now he realizes that he might not need to use that and just save it for that ultimate from iRaffer.
And I think you made the right point when you start talking about maniaKK on this Chulainn. The impact that he's going to be able to have when he rotates in is going to be big. A lot of the CC you're talking about, the missing, is kind of in maniaKK's kit between his standard form and the rage form.
That's true, and he's going to be pretty impactful, but then again, so is Creed. I mean, Creed's going to be able to step in front of emilitoo and Yammyn and really make life difficult for these backliners. And checking in with what iRaffer is going for, it isn't going to be a mystical mail. It's a much more selfless sovereignty, and this is an item that we really haven't seen a whole lot of as of late. I mean, this used supposed to be the support item that you built right after boots because it gives you physical protection and health, and then it gives the rest of your team physical protection and HP 5 in an aura. It got nerfed, less protections overall, but I still think it's really, really strong here. The problem is that Dheylo's playing a magical jungler, so that sovereignty not going to get quite as much value as you would like.
Dracomarino is the one that's in trouble. Good wall comes out from Dheylo, but emilitoo doesn't care. Up in the air and right on over it. Yammyn ends up getting the credit for cleaning that one up, but iRaffer is the one that's trapped in the suns from Warchi. Way too hot for him, and he falls.
Just support for support. Now, Dracomarino is farther ahead, so that means that technically NRG got more gold, and that was a kill onto the mid lane Yammyn, but Warchi got his second kill at the same time, and Dracomarino being level 12 means that he can pick up his relic, his second relic, and come back and impact the fights right away, whereas iRaffer's only sitting at level 10, so he doesn't get that second relic for another 2 levels still, so he's not only going to have to come out, farm, get the level 12, but then he's going to have to back to get that second relic, which means that's even more time away from farming that he really needs. So support for support usually doesn't really matter, but in this instance, I think that heavily favors the Papis.
And it's not just who was killed, but also it went where the kills go. They went on to Warchi and to Yammyn. Yammyn actually playing the AMC there in the mid, so you feel like it's a little bit more impactful for AMC to get a little bit of extra boost there, or for Warchi on this hui.
I think that Warchi maintaining a lead is probably better. It's a
bounce.
nice double bounce there on emilitoo. emil not going to have to use any relics, but will get poked out. He does have the Bancroft's Talon, though, so plenty of sustain. Probably doesn't even need to back unless he wants to finish an item or grab some wards, but this is a great opportunity for the Papis to at least check to see if emil backed by pulling the Gold Fury.
iRaffer's here, and it looks like he's the only one that's willing to move up. His Gold Fury's also already very low, and Papis end up taking it down without anyone being able to come in and contest it. So as you said, a real quick sneak away by Papis.
Really smart plays by the Papis. I mean, that is calculated through and through by Warchi to poke out emilitoo, and then the Papis say, well, emil's either backing or low, so this is a perfect time for us to pull Gold Fury. And iRaffer's playing Ares. I mean, what steal potential is there? Flames? I mean, it's not even that impactful because Dracomarino can silence it out or stun him and knock him up. This is a really good start to this game from the Papis, and you could tell that they came into it today very, very focused. And this is not a composition that they were probably, really prepared for. I mean, Ares isn't something that I think of when I think of iRaffer's God Pool, but this is a great adjustment by the Papis. They've played safe, they've played around the CC or lack thereof that NRG has in their composition, and they've looked down to focus down iRaffer in the early game. Now they need to recognize that's not going to work forever, though. iRaffer will get tanky enough eventually that he cannot be the focus of all your ults on the Papis. So how well can they adjust whatever that time comes is going to be a big question for them.
And that Gold Fury opens up the first kind of lead here in this game from Papis, now about 1,300 or so gold out in front of NRG. And as you said, they've been playing really well, but that just goes to show how strong NRG is. Papis just holding even with NRG for like 17 minutes is showing how well they can play. Now we're seeing some aggressive positioning from over on the Portal Demon. NRG started up for the moment, but ended up dropping it. Now Papis are the one pulling it. Dheylo ready to go establish the front line for him. His target's going to be adapting, trying to get the stun out, unable to find it. Dharmic Pillars come out to help out as it's adapting up in the air.
But again, it's iRaffer the one locked in, and he's going to fall before he gets the ultimate off. There's a nice knockup from maniaKK, hitting everybody on the Papis, looking to keep on going, but it's only him so far.
maniaKK is the one that's out in front, but it's not going to be enough. Yammyn came too far forward because maniaKK went to the front line. He falls. Warchi also cleaning up, adapting here. It's 3 for 0 in this engage and make that 3 for 1. maniaKK, the hero they need, finding Dheylo, but emilitoo all alone. Buddy, you're gone. Creed cleans that one up 4 for 1.
What a fight by the Papis, and NRG just so split there. Adapting wants to come in around the backside Harpies, but they had him spotted out the whole time. Dheylo did a great job of zoning him away. maniaKK hits a 5-man knockup. He chases down Dheylo. He's the only one to get a kill, but that's because no one else from NRG is around to protect the backline. AMC, Freya, these are gods that need help on the backside, and Ares just does not provide that, especially when he's getting focused as hard as iRaffer is. maniaKK needs to try and make an adjustment to protect one of these guys, or adapting. Someone needs to keep Yammyn and emilitoo alive because they'll do enough damage on their own.
Such a big team fight for the Papis. We talked about it on the desk. If they were going to win, they need to try and get a win early. It's really hard to beat a team this season if you let it go to 40 minutes and it's even. This is where they can start building it. They've got the Portal Demon now. That let them come back out, try and look for some invades on the jungle. Also started to establish a bigger lead now, a little bit closer to 2,500, and they're leading the kills department too, 6-3.
This next Gold Fury is going to be absolutely critical in this game. It's up in about 1 minute and 45 seconds, and if the Papis can get it, that that's the gold lead that really starts to feel impactful. I mean, it's right now 3,000 gold or so, not that big of a deal. NRG could still win a fight without much going their way. They can just outplay you in the team fight and not worry about the level or gold deficit. But if the Papis are able to get this gold Fury and go up by 6,000 gold or so, that is a big difference. And if NRG can get this gold Fury, then this game is even. So this next gold Fury is where you'll see these teams start to fight over, because for the next minute and 20 seconds, no team is going to risk getting picked, getting knocked low, and forced to back right before the gold Fury pull, because this next one's going to be huge.
And take a look here. Yammyn on this Muzen Cop's chosen to go with the Wingblade in his build for that third item in response to some of these slows coming out from the Papis.
They've got plenty between Osiris with those constant slows from the sickle. You've got the ultimate from Dracomarino with the slow, Warchi's ultimate, MrNazer with the stellar burst. This is a nice item choice for Yammyn, because he'll be able to still do decent damage at this stage of the game. I mean, Dheylo is pretty tanky anyways, so even with Executioner, it won't help him that much, because if Yammyn's able to hit Dheylo 3 times in the middle of a team fight, it's probably already going pretty well for them. Getting some more survivability, still using the base damage on the abilities of AMC, and just waiting to become that attack damage, the guy who's using the auto attacks, the crit, the chin size, whatever build path Yammyn wants to go for. You can start to really utilize that half of what AMC does well after he's able to get into the later stages.
And AMC doesn't really have a hard escape. The best thing he has going for him is that increased movement speed that he gets, and this definitely serves to augment that. But now it's time for that Gold Fury that we talked about, how important this was going to be. We can see that in Papis' positioning, already aggressively positioned around and ready to start it up. Between Warchi and MrNazer, it's already at half health, but NRG are here to try and contest it this time. It's going to be iRaffer who's trying to establish the front line, but they immediately turn the Diamond Pillars. Dheylo hits the ultimate, and iRaffer is the one that's trapped in the Suns. Two-man whoop, though, does come out from emilitoo on the Freya, but maniaKK falls as well. It's way too much damage too early.
Emil has to go up into the Valkyrie's discretion, but both frontliners are dead for NRG already. So Papis, they're just going to go ahead right back to the Gold Fury. No ultimates available for the Papis, but emilitoo's going to try and steal this away with the Pulse. Trying to go for it. He's going to get it! emilitoo steals away the Gold Fury and keeps NRG's hopes alive.
emilitoo may have fallen for it, but that was absolutely worth it. Gold Fury taken away. I believe he even used beads in there to make sure that any crowd control that came out to try and halt his DPS would not go through. Steals it away. Not a good call there from Papis to let that happen, but they're going to try and get a little bit more back here aggro. They're going to take the tier 1, and no one's really in position to defend this tier 2. I think they're going to try and take it down.
This is pretty risky, though. I mean, they've got a lot of low health members. As iRaffer's going to blink in, still have that ultimate, never used in the last fight. He's going to get a big pull-off underneath that tier 2 tower. NRG going to be able to stay alive for the moment, but Dracomarino is the focus for iRaffer.
There just really wasn't anyone there who was able to follow up for it. Good body block from iRaffer, though, keeps Dracomarino in a troublesome position. Warchi's here, could be able to get a stun to try and peel a little bit for his mid laner as MrNazer cleaned up Yammyn, and he just went up a little bit too far by his own. Dracomarino ends up falls in trade as Warchi cleans up iRaffer.
Man, all of a sudden the Papis is looking great. I mean, they do lose Dracomarino there, but they get Yammyn and iRaffer for that chase down the middle lane. I could not overstate how important that Gold Fury is for NRG. I mean, emilitoo throws his life away. He knows that that game is probably over if the Papis get that gold, because if think about it this way, Papis get gold, they kill emilitoo, they get tier 1 in mid, they might get tier 2 in mid as well, then all of a sudden that's a massive gold lead. I mean, it's still a solid one for the Papis. They're still up about 3,000 gold, but that gold steal from emilitoo, I mean, there's a reason that everyone is still talking about emilitoo as the best hunter in the world right now. He is still playing at an incredibly high level, and it feels like single-handedly keeping NRG in this game.
But aggro, that's what I've got to ask you on that one. It's 4v1 over there on that Gold Fury. I feel like Papis got to be able to secure that Gold Fury. Is it a hero play by emilitoo, or have Papis dropped the ball?
Well, it's both. I mean, they have to just leave the Gold Fury and kill emilitoo in that sense. I mean, emilitoo's beads are down, his Aegis is still up, but you force him to Aegis and then run away. He's got no escape. He's got no mobility. Just drop the Gold Fury and kill him, because you've already killed everyone else from NRG. No chance that you, even if you don't get gold after killing emilitoo, then you just reset and do it again, because you've gotten yourselves a gold lead in that sense. That's the lack of experience from Papis starting to show, where you get Gold Fury down to about 800 HP and someone starts running at you and you kind of panic, like, oh, what are we going to do? ML actually somehow is able to get around all of the Papis and be able to hit the Gold Fury. Also, they could have just body blocked the shots. I mean, he activated Pulse and Irradiate at the same time, I believe, so that's not AoE anymore. That's single target damage. All you have to do is step in front of ML, but put yourself between him and the Gold Fury, but then you're at risk of dying because it's Freya. So I think that the best overall call is to just drop gold, kill ML, and then go right back to it. The Gold Fury wouldn't have reset by that amount of time, and he would have died very quickly.
Now the call from Papis is they need to regroup is going to be Portal Demon. maniaKK and iRaffer are both here, the front line that we saw fall from in that last engagement, to try and help out. And that's enough for Papis to go ahead and fall off of the Portal Demon. But Aggro, I want to talk to you about what we've seen here from Dheylo and then the follow-up from NRG and Warchi in this game. It feels like the synergy's been on point.
And it's all just, it's not a hard formula to kind of replicate. It's lock in Raffer, drop Suns, drop Supernova, win fight. But they have to be wary because now Raffer's got a little bit more magical protection.
The Portal Demon's very low. Suns come out from Warchi on top of it. One more time, Raffer's locked into the wall. Doesn't fall as quickly, but he does fall. Adapting, though, is in the back of the team fight, not able to stop them from taking the Portal Demon, and now he's going to have to turn tail and run. Goes into the bat out of hell, and he's looking to get out. Now that's going to be a disengage.
This is much more discipline from the Papis, and you can see it takes a little bit longer for that combination to work. Raffer stayed alive much longer than he was before in that ultimate combination. Now that he's finished off the Shogun's Kasari, it's going to take even longer, but it's still working so far, and the Papis going to come right through and pull this Fire Giant right away.
Papis do look to get it started. Adapting is here, but Creed's the one on zoning duty. Already has those tethers out on him. emilitoo loops in, and Warchi's getting tanked, getting chunked by the damage got from emilitoo. He's fighting up against Draco, and Warchi forces out 2 Aegises and respond. emilitoo's on fire with this Freya so far, Aggro.
And there's the pulse after the whoop as well. Adapting's looking for a double for emilitoo, and he's going to have to worry about Creed up and over the wall. No relics. He does have his Aegis still, and Creed looking for it. The stun's going to be there. Dheylo will put down Emil, but it's too late. The Papis already lost 2 members to him.
Yeah, that trade absolutely favored emilitoo. Now it's just going to be a little bit more aggression from Creed over here onto maniaKK, but maniaKK's okay. He's a tanky Chulainn, so he has no problem hanging out. Papis pull the Fire Giant. They want to try and force a fight while they still have a little bit of an advantage. What went wrong for him, Aggro?
Warchi just got outboxed by emilitoo, and that's just character v character. He's going to have a tough time at this point up against a Freya who's got the Hasten Ring. He's got the Demonic Grip as well. Even more penetration with that Obsidian Shard. ML's just going to hit harder than Warchi will at this point. Now, once Warchi finishes off that Deathbringer, if he can get his lucky crits, then he might be able to blow up ML before he gets blown up himself, but that's still a risky proposition. Warchi has had his best game in a long, long time in this one. He has played safe, he has played aggressive when necessary, he's been accurate, his positioning has been good. That was just a good individual play from emilitoo, but he has to recognize that ML's going to be hunting for him every team fight from now on, because it's really emilitoo versus the Papis in my mind. I mean, everyone else from NRG has been really inconsequential in this game. Can the Papis identify that and bring down ML before he brings them all down himself?
Papis switch focus to the Gold Fury this time. One more time, Creed's on zoning duty. Raffer stepping up, but Dheylo has the ult. They might go with the same plan that's worked for him so many times. Army Pillar already comes down. Suns come down as well, but before Raffer can even pull anyone, he gets blown on up. maniaKK goes in for the knockup, does hit several members, but there was no immediate follow-up for him. Adapting is on Warchi in the back line, has to go up into the air. Warchi could be in trouble, lives just for the moment, and maniaKK's also low, but it's Yammyn who gets a kill.
Creed really low as well, but ML and Yammyn still here. Yammyn down to about 5% HP, but a good whoop from emilitoo disengages the fight for the Papis. Now, Warchi is dead, so this Gold Fury tank isn't going to be quite as easy, but MrNazer has that Bancroft's talent, at least a little bit of...
Good blink from Dheylo coming in. emilitoo's in a whole lot of trouble. Actually, the turn and burn, though, is really good. emilitoo's got a lot of damage, and everyone from Papis are really low. They're going to have to drop the Gold Fury one more time. Good from emilitoo again to get him to back off, but MrNazer looks like he wants to try and pull it up to solo it.
He's just trying to get some lifesteal. Go step in, hit a couple autos to get your lifesteal off Bancroft's talent, and let it go so before it does any damage to you. That's because Creed's on the way, and he might be able to tank this up. Now, emilitoo still is very healthy. Over half HP, has beads, Aegis up in about 5 seconds as well. No ultimate for him, but with those 2 relics, should be able to stay safe enough. And the Papis decide to back up off the Gold Fury, a wise call from them. Dheylo needs to be more careful about how much damage emilitoo is doing to him.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, he is not tanky to this Freya anymore.
No, all he really has for his Void Stone, looks like. He's going with the Mystical Male and High-Demand Lion, so really not too much of an answer for emilitoo, but I feel like that's what went wrong for him at the beginning when they lose like 3 members to Papis at that Gold Fury fight. emilitoo was like full health, couldn't really get into position to be a part of the fight.
Well, a lot of it was also that Warchi's relics were still down from that Fire Giant engagement on the right-hand side, which meant that adapting, blinking in, and bringing him down very quickly was very easy for adapting. In the next engagement, Warchi's going to have relics available, and it's going to be much harder for the Camazotz.
Already getting that Gold Fury pulled this time
This
on
is
Papis,
gone.
and it looks like NRG are not aware that it's happening, and it's already taken away. Now Papis sitting on top of about a 5,000 gold lead. We're getting closer, though, to a 29 minutes, so 5,000 is not as big as it once was, but they're turning right over to the solo side of the map.
Uncharacteristic for NRG to just forget that Gold Fury is an option there with Papis having ward coverage, and now they have to be here for this Portal Demon pull. They were last time, but if the Papis can win this Portal Demon fight, that would put them right next to the Fire Giant, also right next to the Tier 1 tower on the right-hand side, which is pretty easy gold for them to get at this point.
At this point, Papis are backing up and farming, though. I like this. Even though they just got the Gold Fury, that's gold in hand. They haven't spent that small lead that they helped push it up a little bit. So if they fight here, it's actually a little bit closer than the numbers might suggest. Dheylo once again locking in emilitoo. This time let's go right up into the air and try and use that Valkyrie's discretion to return the damage. Actually, a good pull comes off from iRaffer this time. One of the first ones we've seen all game. Adapting, going through with that Bat of the Hell, gets a lot of good return damage, but Papis able to stay alive.
Warchi has to drop the ultimate, looking for emilitoo, but Adapting's going to blink in and look for him. Nice ultimate from MrNazer, but it won't save Warchi. maniaKK the one to get credit.
So now it's NRG who are looking to start this one up. Yammyn is at the Portal Demon. He's going to have to drop, and he recognizes that everyone from Papis are still here. Like you said, MrNazer trying to get a little bit of lifesteal back from some of these structures. Not really ready to give it up just yet, though, is NRG. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this here. Yes, it's been emilitoo going off, but Yammyn's on Muzen Cobb. At a certain point, he's going to be killing too.
Yeah, exactly. He's just kind of a ticking time bomb in the later stages, and he's already got the Titan's Bane, the Odysseus bow as well. Not looking for that big burst of crit damage, but instead just to spread that damage out throughout the team fight, which is perfect because the Papis have been very heavily grouped so far in this game. They've been locking down iRaffer, locking down emilitoo, which is the reason that last fight went poorly for the Papis, is because they locked down emilitoo, who is one of the only characters that can get out of that lockdown for NRG. Lock in Yammyn, lock in iRaffer. Those guys, they're gonna have a lot of trouble getting out of the Cabrakan ultimate. emilitoo pops right up, and not only does he escape all the damage, but he puts out a lot of damage with that Valkyrie's discretion. iRaffer and Yammyn need to be the focus. Now, with iRaffer finishing off, getting close to finishing off a Hide of the Urchin after that Shogun's Gasari, he's probably too tanky now. So Yammyn needs to be the focus, but Yammyn's positioning has been very, very good, realizing that he might be the prime target for this Cabrakan ultimate. As long as he can stay back and not be the one to get locked in, NRG already starting to sow the seeds of having a better late game team fight.
Adapting in that last fight did blink on the Warchi too when he realized how low he was. I think that's the right call. Look right here, Warchi's already got full build. Deathbringer's online. He's got all the crit ready to go, full stack Devo gloves. Get him out of the fight.
Exactly, and with relics down for about a minute still, he's vulnerable.
He's definitely vulnerable. That could be the call from Adapting when something happens, but the call from a Papis is to go for the Portal Demon. Already down to half health, but Adapting, looping around the back. maniaKK could come into the back end of the fight too. The call's a blink in from iRaffer, goes in for the pull, pulls in 2 members. Sun drop down from Warchi though to make it so no one can move in. Warchi's going to iRaffer, who's low, cleaned up by Dheylo. MrNazer gets emilitoo. Now maniaKK, instead of being a frontline, is isolated. Adapting's there trying to help. Warchi gets taken out by the Bat out of Hell.
Creed still pretty low as well, but MrNazer still very healthy. No ultimate for him as Yammyn trying to step up and help out this fight. Dheylo's ultimate not quite as impactful as the Papis would have liked. That's still a 2-for-1. Again, it's Warchi who falls, and that was a great engagement from iRaffer to blink in and get that pull off, but the Papis do such a good job of forcing NRG to back up because they immediately jump on top of emilitoo, who ended up dying very quickly in that fight. If all of NRG is just allowed to say, hey, iRaffer's got Warchi and he's got no beads, let's run in and destroy this guy, that's an easy, quick team fight, and NRG probably get Portal Demon and or Fire Giant off of it. But because the Papis recognize that their backline's vulnerable, instead of trying to group up and protect and all get crushed, they instead push out, create space, keep all the damage dealers off of Warchi. Still ends up falling, but it took a lot longer.
Portal Demon started up. Portal Demon is finished by Papis. Good job zoning there from the rest of their team, but they weren't able to go for anything more impactful. If Warchi's if they only lose 1, but that 1 is Warchi, it feels like Papis lost 2. He's just that big for them. He's top of the player damage.
He really has been, but now that Rod of Tahuti is done for MrNazer, he's also going to be that level of importance in these team fights, and he's really been able to free cast for the most part in these team fights. But now that he's nearly full build, Rod of Tahuti done, he's working on his 6th item as he sells the Sands of Time, they have to be more wary of where MrNazer is in these fights.
And he needs to get in now. Fire Giant's already been started up. That Portal Demon's available for MrNazer to rotate in. Stun from Warchi, lands on the Maniac, and that's a lot of good free poke. He got off into a valuable target. iRaffer, though, pulls in three members, but there really wasn't any immediate follow-up, and now the turn and burn comes out. Dheylo drops the walls. Goodbye, iRaffer, we knew you well. Now they can turn back towards the objective as maniaKK has to back.
This is a Fire Giant for Papis. I mean, maniaKK's super low. emilitoo is still healthy, as is Yammyn. They both got relics, but they don't want to go in and contest it.
Good
the
fight.
Papis get the Fire Giant now up about 5,000 gold, and I don't know if NRG's going to have time to burn down this Gold Fury before the Papis can come over and strip it away as well.
And I feel like there were two things that happened there, Aggro. One was that Warchi was able to get really good poke off on the maniaKK early, like for free, and that no one was able to immediately follow up on iRaffer, who actually got a good pull.
Exactly, and there's just not a lot of AoE damage for NRG anyways. I mean, off of Ares pull, you want like Volcano, you want Zeusalt, you want something that's going to cover a lot of area. AMC autos with Odysseus bow does good damage, but it's not big burst. You're not scared to step in and get pulled by that Ares ultimate if it's going to put you in a spot where NRG has to follow up, and then you could pick iRaffer or pick whoever steps up to follow up off of it. I mean, there is just so little AoE damage that this Ares ultimate, while very impactful in 1v1 or 2v2s, not great in these 5v5 engagements.
maniaKK gets stunned out, forced to jump in and try and engage. Does get a 3-man knockup, has those Thorn tickings as well. Now he's in the Rage form, looking to get a little bit of return as Papis have to give up on that tier 2 tower for now after the strong return push for maniaKK.
And remember, Papis haven't backed yet, so that gold that they've earned at Fire Giant fight at the Gold Fury, it isn't impactful quite yet. They haven't spent it.
MrNazer trying to get that Stellar Burst to create some space, and that's going to be the call. NRG recognize they can give up this tier 2, instead try and group up and have a better fight later on. But wow, what a really good defense from NRG here. I wanted to ask you a little bit while we got a quick moment. Yammyn really hasn't gotten any of the big Hunter power items on, like the Kin size we see for attack speed Pen or like Deathbringer. Instead, going for what might be like Mantle and the Wingblade.
Yeah, I get it. I think that he is looking at the fact that all of the Papis are very grouped, and they haven't, and there's not a lot of single target opportunities for him to put out instant damage to one target. So instead, he wants to follow up off that iRaffer ultimate, or just the fact that the Papis are very grouped in these team fights and spread that Odysseus bow damage throughout. But I really think he's lacking a chin size in this build. But the problem with that is that you can't really go chin size without going Executioner, because you need to put Pen onto the enemy in order for that chin size passive to be effective. Remember, that is affected by penetration. It's not just instant, you know, percent of missing health. And that would be great up against characters like Dheylo and Creed, who are very tanky and have plenty of HP. But at the same time, if Yammyn is only hitting Dheylo and Creed, then this team fight, you know, it's going to be tough to win. It's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Yammyn has been able to position well enough and hasn't been the focus that I feel like it probably is the better call to go for chin size, but it's tough to say.
Good Ohm to come out, though, after the blink in from iRaffer. Dracomarino shutting down the initiation of the support coming out from NRG. Now he is using those chains to pull in. Warchi ends up getting the credit for killing him in the backline. maniaKK and adapting, putting pressure on Warchi, who's been the target for him all game long. Warchi's out of this fight now. Credit goes to Adapt.
But MrNazer's still swinging, man. No health lost for him, really, and adapting is able to escape off a beautiful whoop onto MrNazer from emilitoo, but still, NRG invests so much to bring down Warchi, and they get him, but MrNazer's full build, man, he's all the way done with that build. He's swinging for plenty of damage now. He's doing just as much damage as Warchi is at this point. So you have to be able to get Warchi quickly or MrNazer quickly and still have enough resources left to try and kill him. The best part for this, for the Papis, is that even when you lose your Hunter, you know, usually it's like, oh, well, now we can't push towers because our tower push is dead. When you've got Soul, you've got more tower push in your mid lane than you do in your Hunter role. So that's not an issue.
And this is what I think Papis has been the missing ingredient, and why we haven't seen the game break open a little bit earlier is now it has, thanks to taking down 3 tier 2 towers. They're up 13,000 gold. Warchi's died 5 times. He's been the call from NRG like every single fight. Now that MrNazer can come in and have that big time impact, they can't afford to kill both of them, Aggro. There's no way.
It's going to be too difficult. And again, that comes down to the fact that they've got single target damage. The only way they kill both in a team fight is if emilitoo kills one, waits for his cooldowns, and kills the other, because that's really the best way to do it. Yammyn is doing good damage, yes, but not that big burst that you really want out of your late game Hunter.
Now the Portal Demon is the call for NRG to try and get a little bit back from the Papis, who had to go back and try and regroup after that after their siege is on those towers. So it's the right call from NRG to get a little bit back and limit that portal demon. More important than like any Golder experience is that they can't have that portal.
Exactly. It keeps it keeps Papis locked into that team fight should it start to go awry or go NRG's way. But they've got ward coverage, the Papis do, around this Fire Giant. iRaffer's here to try and make sure that his team can come through the portal if necessary, but they've all decided that they'd rather walk to make sure that they don't get caught out in a bad spot. The Papis not having portal demon hurts, yes, but they're not too worried about it because it should go down right around the time that Fire Giant's ready to be pulled.
Fire Giant is about 10 seconds away from being pulled up. Creed actually getting caught out over here. No damage onto him just yet. Dharmic Pillars actually comes out from Dracomarino in response. Looking to go in now are the Papis. Instead, they'll just back out, but that's pretty good. They got the Dharmic Pillars out for free. Dharmic
Pillars have been a real thorn in the side of NRG in these team fights. It keeps everyone away from peeling for iRaffer and keeps all the damage dealers off.
It's NRG who are starting up the Fire Giant now. Papis are the one on the back foot, and there's the damage coming out from Yammyn and emilitoo. Half health now, but going into the backline, Dheylo causing trouble for iRaffer one more time. iRaffer deleted by MrNazer. That means emilitoo can be in the walls now. Tremors forces him up to the Valkyrie discretion, and one more time looking for Warchi in the back. Not able to get him, falls back into trouble. Creed cleans emilitoo off. Now Adapting's the one who falls.
Big crits there out of the Papis. They've already taken 3 down. It's just maniaKK and Yammyn left alive, and the Papis are trying to decide if they want the kills or the Fire Giant. They might be able to get both because maniaKK's looking to steal it.
And this is Papis up against NRG, ladies and gentlemen. The 2-time world champs. They're down in the Gauntlet where maniaKK's in a whole lot of trouble. maniaKK is gone. That's 4 members of NRG that have fallen in favor of the Papis. Fire Giant on all 5 members. They're ready to start storming down some Phoenixes. This is the Gauntlet. This is to get to Super Regionals aggro, and Papis are looking strong.
They're looking activated for sure. They're going for the right side Phoenix now, and look at how much tower damage they have, man, between a late game Hu-Yi and a late game Soul, both full build. Good luck defending this one, Yammyn.
And it's Yammyn and iRaffer. Those are the last hope here for NRG as that Phoenix is getting taken down in aggro. I kind of don't know why they can't. Dharmic Pillars back up. iRaffer looking for the pull. He is able to get it off. But the suns raining down from Warchi are just too much. The Titan's already taken down. Papis are up 1-0 over NRG Esports. That's the Gauntlet.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
NRG has... They have to win 2 in a row.
Yeah, they do.
Or their season is over.
And that's it. This will be it for them. There's no second chance. There's no coming back. Not just RIP Worlds. It'd be RIP Super Regionals if they don't win this game. We got those post-game stats here for you. Aggro, try and break down for me what just happened. How'd Papis turn it around?
Papis just focused down iRaffer and got him so far behind. Their team fight was phenomenal. And I really think this composition for NRG just didn't end up coming to fruition. Their single target damage, phenomenal. Their early game, good. Their late game, great. Their 2v2, 3v3 skirmishes, great. But in the 5v5s, that's what the Papis really drafted for. It's Hu-Yi, big AoE ultimate. It's Soul, covers tons of area, but also both still have great single target damage. It's Dheylo setting up, protecting. Everyone on the Papis just did their job. NRG's composition just didn't really hold up in the 5v5s.
It really felt like it came down to me to that Ares pick from iRaffer, and I think that you kind of feel the same way about it. The idea from NRG seemed to be to sort of pull everyone into one area and fight there, but that's kind of the thing Papis' draft did better, was fight in a small area, and Papis did better continually between MrNazer and Warchi.
They really did. I mean, it was just look at the single target damage or the AoE damage or lack thereof that NRG has, and then look what the Papis have. They've got way more, not only from their mid and hunter, but even in the jungle. I mean, that's got Cabrakan that's going to be tremoring everything. He's got Mystical Mail as well to cover an even bigger area. The Papis just straight up played better than NRG in that game.
Well, we got the